Dear Christopher, here is your friend Thomas the Tank Engine. He wanted to come out of his station yard and see the world. These stories tell you how he did it. I hope you will like them, because you helped me to make them. Your loving Daddy.
Surrounded by beautiful blue sea. It has fields of green and sandy yellow beaches. There are rivers, streams, and lots of trees where the birds sing. There are windmills and a coal mine, and docks where visitors to the island arrive. The island also has lots and lots of railway lines. Who's that puffing down the track? It's Thomas. Hello, Thomas.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the island of Soda.
Four little engines. Skarloey Remembers. The Fat Controller had sent Edward to the works to be mended. Near the workstation, Edward noticed a narrow-gauge engine standing in an open-sided shed.
That's Skarloey. What's he doing there?
He remembered Skarloey and his brother Rheneas because in the old days he had often brought passengers who wanted to travel up to the lake in their little train. As the men at the works could not mend him at once, Edward asked them to put him on a siding close to Skarloey. Skarloey was pleased to see Edward. "The owner has just bought 2 more engines," he said. "He told me I was a very old engine and deserved a good rest. He gave me this shed so that I could see everything and not be lonely. But I am lonely all the same," he continued sadly. "I miss Rheneas very much. Yesterday one of the new engines pushed him on a truck, and now he's gone to be mended. I wish I could be mended too, and pull coaches again."
Have your coaches got names?
asked Edward. "Oh, yes. There's Agnes, Ruth, Jemima, Lucy, and Beatrice. Agnes is proud. She has cushions for first-class passengers. She pities Ruth, Jemima, and Lucy, who are third class with bare boards. But they all 4 sniff at Beatrice. Beatrice often smells of fish and cheese, but she is the most important," said Skarloey earnestly. "She has a little window through which the guard sells tickets. I sometimes leave the others behind, but I always take Beatrice. You must have tickets and a guard, you know."
Of course,
said Edward gravely. "Rheneas and I," continued Skarloey, "used to take turns at pulling the trains. We know everybody, and everybody knows us. We whistle to the people in the fields, at level crossings, and in lonely cottages and farms, and the people always wave to us. We love passing the school playgrounds at break time, for then the children will always run over to the fence to watch us go by. The passengers always wave because they think the children are waving to them. But We engines know better, of course, said Skarloey importantly.
Yes, we do indeed.
Agreed Edward. We take your tourists to the lake and then get ready to pull the train back. We enjoy the morning journey home because then our friends from the villages come down to do their shopping. We whistle before every station. Peep, peep, look out! And the people are there ready.
Where's Mrs. Last? Where's Mrs. Last?
Asked the guard. She's coming. Peep, peep, we whistle. And Mrs. Last comes running onto the platform.
Hey, we'll leave you behind one of these days, Mrs.
Laughs our driver, but we know he never will. We stop elsewhere too, at farm crossings and stiles where paths lead to lonely houses. Rheneas and I know all the places very well indeed, and our driver used to say that we would stop even if he didn't put on the brakes. Sometimes on market day, Ruth, Jemima and Lucy were so full of people that the guard would allow third-class passengers to travel in Agnes. She didn't like that at all and would rumble, "First-class coach, third-class people." That made me cross. "Shut up," I'd say, "or I'll bump you." That soon stopped her rudeness to my friends. Just then, some workmen came.
"We're going to take you to the works now, Edward. Come along,"
they said.
Well, goodbye, Skarloey. Thank you for telling me about your railway. It's a lovely little line.
It is. It is. Thank you for talking to me, Edward. You've cheered me up. Goodbye. Skarloey watched Edward being taken back to the works. Then, shutting his eyes, he dozed in the warm afternoon sun. He smiled as he dozed, for he was dreaming, as old engines will, of happy days in the past. Sir Handel. The new engines looked very smart. One was called Sir Handel, and the other Peter Sam. "What a small shed," grumbled Sir Handel. "This won't do at all."
I think it's nice.
Said Peter Sam. "Huh," grunted Sir Handel. "What's that rubbish?"
Shush, shush.
Said Peter Sam.
That's Skarloey, the famous old engine.
And he whispered to Skarloey.
I'm sorry, Skarloey. Sir Handel's upset now, but he's quite nice, really.
Skarloey felt sorry for Peter Sam.
"Now, Sir Handel,"
said the fireman the next morning,
"I will get you ready for work."
"I'm tired," he yawned. "Let Peter Sam go. He'd love it."
"No, you're first."
"Oh, well," said Sir Handel sulkily, "I suppose I must." When his driver arrived, Sir Handel puffed away to fetch the coaches. "Whatever next?" he snorted. "Those aren't coaches, they're cattle trucks." "Ooh!" screamed Agnes, Ruth, Lucy, Jemima and Beatrice. "What a horrid engine!" "It's not what I'm used to," clanked Sir Handel, rebelliously making for the station. He rolled to the platform just as Gordon arrived. "Hello," he said. "Who are you?"
I'm Gordon. Who are you?
"I'm Sir Handel. Yes, I've heard of you. You're an express engine, I believe. So am I, but I'm used to bogie coaches, not these cattle trucks. Do you have bogie coaches? Oh, yes, I see you do. We must have a chat sometime. Sorry, I can't stop. Must keep time, you know." And he puffed off, leaving Gordon at a loss for words. Come along, he puffed. Cattle trucks, grumbled the coaches. We'll pay him out. Presently they stopped at a station. The line curved here and began to climb. It was not very steep, but the day was misty and the rails were slippery. Hold back, whispered Agnes to Ruth. Hold back, whispered Ruth to Jemima. Hold back, whispered Jemima to Lucy. Hold back, whispered Lucy to Beatrice, and they giggled as Sir Handel started and their couplings tightened. Come on, he puffed as his wheels slipped on the greasy rails. Come on. His wheels were spinning, but the coaches pulled him back, and the train stopped on the hill beyond the station. I can't do it, he grumbled. I'm used to sensible bogey coaches, not these bumpy cattle trucks. The guard came up.
You know, I think the coaches are up to something. Let's take the train down to a level piece of line to give Sir Handel a good start, eh?
So they decided to bring the train down again to a level piece of line to give Sir Handel a good start. The guard helped the fireman put sand on the rails, and Sir Handel made a tremendous effort. The coaches tried hard to drag him back, but he puffed and pulled so hard that they were soon over the top and away on their journey. The thin controller was severe with Sir Handel that night.
You are a troublesome engine,
he said.
You are rude, conceited, and much too big for your wheels. Next time, I shall punish you severely.
Sir Handel was impressed and behaved well for several days. Then one morning he took the train to the top station. He was cross. It was Peter Sam's turn, but the thin controller had made him go instead.
We'll leave the coaches now and fetch some cars from the quarry.
Trucks! Snorted Sir Handel. Trucks! Yes, his driver repeated. Sir Handel jerked forward. I won't, he muttered. So there. He lurched, bumped, and stopped. His driver and fireman got out. Told you, said Sir Handel triumphantly. He had pushed the rails apart and settled down between them. They telephoned the thin controller. He came up at once with Peter Sam and brought some workmen in a truck. Then he and the fireman took Peter Sam home with the coaches, while the driver and the workmen put Sir Handel back on the rails.
Come on, said his driver. Let's get you back on the rail.
Sir Handel did not feel so pleased with himself when he crawled home and found the thin controller waiting for him.
You are a very naughty engine,
he said sternly.
You will stay in the shed until I can trust you to behave.
After hearing that, I'm sure Sir Handel will, aren't you? Peter, Sam, and the refreshment lady. Sir Handel had been naughty, so the thin controller made him stay in the shed for a while. Peter Sam was now busier than ever. He had to do Sir Handel's work as well as his own. He was very excited, and the fireman found him hard to handle. Anyone would think that he wanted to work, said Sir Handel, who was lonely and bored. All respectable engines do, replied Skarloey. Keep calm, Peter Sam, and you'll do well. But Peter Sam was in such a state that he couldn't listen. He collected some coaches and went on his way.
Beep, 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 beep. Come on, girls.
He whistled, and although he was so excited, he remembered to be careful.
That's the way, my dears. Gently does it. What did he say?
asked Jemima, who was deaf. He said, "Come along, girls," and he called us his dears, simpered the other coaches. Really, one does not know what to think. Such a handsome young engine, too. But somehow the faster he wanted to go, the slower the journey became. When Peter Sam finally fussed into the station, Henry was already there.
This won't do, youngster,
Said Henry.
I can't be kept waiting. If you're late tonight, I'll go off and leave your passengers behind.
Pooh, said Peter Sam. Secretly, he was a little worried, but not for long. The guard blew his whistle and waved his green flag. Peter Sam puffed happily away, singing a little song.
I'm Peter Sam, I'm running this line. I'm Peter Sam, I'm running this line.
The people waved as he passed the farms and cottages, and he gave a loud whistle at the school. The children all ran to see him puffing by. Agnes, Ruth, Jemima, Lucy and Beatrice enjoyed themselves too.
They were growing fond of Peter Sam. Every afternoon they had to wait an hour at the station by the lake. The station has a little shop selling refreshments. The driver, fireman and the guard buy tea and cakes from the refreshment lady.
The refreshment lady always came home on this train. Time passed slowly today for Peter Sam. At last his driver and fireman came.
Beep, beep! Hurry up, please!
He whistled to the passengers, and they came strolling back to the station.
How awfully,
He thought.
if we miss Henry's train.
The last passengers arrived. The guard was ready with his flag and whistle. The refreshment lady walked across the platform. Then it happened. The guard says that Peter Sam was too impatient. Peter Sam says he was sure he heard a whistle. Anyway, he started. Stop! Wailed the coaches. You've left the refreshment lady behind.
Bother.
Groaned Peter Sam as he stopped.
We'll miss Henry now.
The refreshment lady climbed aboard and they started again. Peter Sam didn't sing anymore. Instead, he hurried along the line as fast as his wheels and his driver would let him. They arrived at the big station just in time.
Hurrah!
Said Peter Sam,
We've caught him after all.
and he let off steam with relief. Whoosh!
Not bad, youngster.
The refreshment lady shook her fist at Peter Sam. What do you mean by leaving me behind? She demanded.
I'm sorry, refreshment lady, but I was worried about our passengers.
And he told her what Henry had said. The refreshment lady laughed. You silly engine, she said. Henry wouldn't dare go. He's got to wait. It's a guaranteed connection.
Well,
Said Peter Sam.
well, where's that Henry?
But Henry had chortled away. Old Faithful. Sir Handel stayed shut up for several days, but one market day, Peter Sam could not work. He needed repairs. Sir Handel was glad to come out. Meanwhile, Sir Handel was having trouble with some coaches. He tried to be kind, but the coaches didn't trust him. They were awkward and rude. There was worse to come. Some careless sheep had strayed onto the line. "He's bumped us!" screamed the coaches. "Let's pay him out!" They surged into Sir Handel and pushed him off the rails. No one was hurt, but Sir Handel limped sadly to the shed.
No more work for you today, said his driver. How are we going to pull the visitors' train without an engine?
"What about me, sir?"
Skarloey, can you do it?
"I'll try," said the old engine. The coaches stood at the platform. "I'm ashamed of you," scolded Skarloey. "You might have hurt your passengers." The coaches quivered. "We're sorry, Skarloey, we didn't think. It's that Sir Handel, he's..." "No tails," said Skarloey firmly. "I won't have it. And don't you dare try tricks on me." "No, Skarloey, of course not, Skarloey," quavered the coaches meekly. Skarloey might be old and have dirty paint, but he was certainly an engine who would stand no nonsense. His friends crowded round, and the guard had to shoo them away before they could start. And their journey began. Skarloey remembered all the gates and stiles where he had to stop. The sun shone, the rails were dry. "This is lovely," sang Skarloey. Presently the line grew steep. Skarloey felt short of steam.
Take your time,
soothed his driver. "It'll be better downhill," Skarloey said to himself. But it wasn't. His springs were weak and the rail joints jarred his wheels. At last, a spring gave way. "I feel all crooked," cried Skarloey.
We'll need a bus now for our passengers,
sighed his driver. "No," pleaded Skarloey. "I'll get them to the station or burst." James was waiting at the platform. Clanging and clanking, Skarloey steamed in. "I'll do it! I'll do it! I've done it!" James collected his passengers and respectfully puffed away. Everyone was pleased with Skarloey. "You were right, sir," said Skarloey to the owner that evening. "Old engines can't pull trains like young ones." The owner smiled.
They can if they're mended, Old Faithful,
he said.
And that's what's going to happen to you. You deserve it.
"Oh, sir," said Skarloey happily. Sir Handel is longing for Skarloey to come back. He thinks Skarloey is the best engine in the world. He does his fair share of the work now, and the coaches never play tricks on him, because he always manages them in Skarloey's way.